live on Facebook?
Yeah, it's live. I can see
You
the
can see
live
that?
icon and the record button up in the corner.
Okay. Just 1 second. Let me get back to that. Yeah, okay. So, okay, so we'll start. Donna, do you want to start us off today?
Absolutely. Welcome everybody who's joining us today. I am Donna Hall, and my co-host is Catherine Opondo. And today we are talking about how domestic abuse affects children. How domestic abuse affects children. I posted something that said that as parents and as adults, we have to make difficult decisions when it comes to our children and their well being as well as ours. So we definitely want to touch base with everybody just to let you guys know how children are affected from domestic violence and domestic abuse, whether it be physical, verbal, financial. Children are definitely affected. Um, so, just to give you a little bit of information before we jump into this conversation, because we want to have a conversation, which means that we are looking to engage with you with questions or your comments. So don't hesitate to, you know, contact us or in, engage with us. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to have the difficult conversations that people shy away from, um, and keep secrets and things of that nature. So we're trying to make people aware of the effects if you're going through domestic any type of domestic violence, any type of domestic abuse, intimate partner violence is another word that they use for it. You definitely want to know how the children are affected. And so, with that being said, and I was reading an article, and it says in 30 to 60% of homes of intimate partner violence, child abuse also occurs. Okay, the perpetrating parents also, when when you leave, the perpetrating parent usually uses a variety of tactics to try to control um, the custodial parent's schedule, um, and actually in doing that they are actually victimizing the children post separation, not even realizing how the children are affected. um, they tie us up in legal proceedings, um, and just that's a control tactic that I believe that you should really know about, and do your best to avoid it, even if you have to reach out to someone in the legal field to help you through this process. So, with that being said, I'm going to share with you how abuse affects children. Now, the first angle I'm going to come from is myself as a child of um, inter intimate partner violence, domestic abuse, mental and financial. Um, so as a child, I was the child, and then my parents were. My mother was going through this, and so what it did to me was to I made some decisions early on in my life about my parenting skills when I became an adult if I had children. Now I was thinking about this at 10, 11, 12 years old because of what I saw my mother endure. And so, when the other parent is under the influence of any type of illegal substances or alcohol, and then they tend to the abuse spills over from the parent and goes down to the children. I made some decisions early on that I was not going to engage in or let any type of um, mind altering substances, alcohol, drugs, or whatever, control how I interacted or let happen to my children. You got to think, I'm 10, 11, 12 years old thinking about this because of what my mother went through and because of what, um, how my father treated us and how he treated my mother. So I'm from that angle, I was thinking about that. And, and then so as I became a teenager, and then I met my first husband, um, they say statistics say that females tend to choose men that are like their fathers. And the thing is that I began dating a young man, and we were 15, so we were too young to even be thinking about drinking or any type of mind altering substances, marijuana, whatever. And the sad thing is, but it's true, that he turned out to be like my dad. Now he didn't display any of these characteristics at 15 or 16,
Mm-hmm.
but at 17 when I was pregnant, and and they started drinking and smoking marijuana, these characteristics came out. And I was very shocked and surprised because they statistics say that we choose men that are like our fathers. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it.
Mm-hmm.
So long story short, that is how it affected me as a child of intimate partner violence, and abuse. And so the abuse spilled over to us as kids, being having to go out in the cold and not being able to get my coat. I was talking to my mother about this morning, and I remember my father being under the influence of alcohol and marijuana, and you know we had, get out of my house and this and that. And it was the dead of winter, and I was not even allowed to get my coat. And so my mother
Okay.
had to do what she could to keep me warm. And then we didn't have a car, so we were walking. We were walking in the cold in the wintertime, and I could not get my coat. So I did talk to my mama about this, and she, we just say just how sad it was. And
Yeah.
so the other aspect, before I give it over to Catherine, the other aspect of this is my own children. So I have four children, two sons, two daughters. And at the time, my oldest daughter was 13, and then on down to age 6. And I noticed, well, the other parent, um, after I left, probably like 2 years after the divorce, the two sons who had chosen to live with their dad, and that's what they wanted to do. I didn't want to deprive them of that, but then they were dropped off back on my doorstep, and dad never came back. So, um, and then I got tied up in legal issues trying to get custody back of the sons, and it took like almost probably a year, and but then he abandoned him. He wasn't involved by choice. Now legally he had visitation rights. We went through this whole parenting schedule, and when are you gonna get the kids, and what holidays, and all of this stuff, like tying me up in legal issues for a year, and
Yeah.
then never. And that was over 10 years ago, and never to this day being involved or coming to pick the kids up or attending graduation or prom or being there when they're sick or just being involved. And so in being abandoned, my two sons, who are now fathers, they are amazing fathers. Like their kids are their life. And
Mm-hmm.
so I believe that being abandoned by their own father, just like I was thinking about, you know what type of mother I was going to be, my sons, um, being abandoned by their father has made them amazing fathers. So it's not always negative. Of course,
Yeah.
they went through the process of feeling like it was their fault, something was wrong with them. What did I do wrong? Why doesn't he want me?
Mm-hmm.
Especially my youngest daughter, being abandoned by their own father. Just like why doesn't he want me? What's wrong
Mhm.
with me?
Mother, I was going to be
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with them at all.
being abandoned by
You know, and then I have my oldest daughter who, on the flip side of that, who until just, believe it or not, a couple of days ago, had pretty much abandoned her two sons.
Mm.
Yes, until a few days ago, the beginning of this week, and they are 9 and 5. Okay,
Mm.
so there's many sides, many aspects of how children are affected and how it spills over into adulthood,
Yeah.
and what type of parent that they are, and what type of things that they let go on around their children, and who they let be involved with their children.
Yeah.
With that being said, I just say keep your eyes open. Um, make sure that your children are safe. Make sure that nobody is influencing negatively the decisions that your children make. Of course, everybody that knows me is in shock at what type of the things that my daughter is doing or has done as a mother, because
Mhm.
of what they went through. But she is turning it around, so I'm excited.
Mhm.
And we have to be supportive of our children, even when they don't do what we think they should do. So with
Mm.
that, I'm going to turn it over to Catherine Opondo and let her give you some insight into this amazing topic. Catherine.
Yeah. So thank you, Donna. That was amazing to hear. And yeah, just like you said, it's domestic violence really affects children in various ways, because normally the other parent is they really don't want to like participate positively in the upbringing of the children, in their lives. They do decide they don't want to, just to get to hurt you, and it,
Right, right,
at the end of the day, it hurts the children more than it even hurts you as the adult. You as the adult, you can handle yourself. But when it comes to the children, then the children are unable to take care of themselves. Um, I remember in my case, just after the divorce, and then my co-parent decided that he was going to withdraw the children from school. Now, bear in mind, at that time, we're living in Africa, where education is not like it is here. You have to pay. And these kids were going to, like, I think the topmost school in the country. I mean, we were living a good life. So
right.
then he pulls the children out of school. I am a stay-at-home mom at that point. I don't have any money to my name. I have nothing, you know. Then it stops the medical insurance. Then it stops the upkeep. So at that point, you're pretty much stuck, you know.
Right.
So the thing that the other parent does not realize is that you as a grown-up can take care of yourself.
Right, right.
But the children depend on you.
Right.
These are babies, these are little lives that you brought into the world together, you know.
Absolutely.
So having to just back off from them and leave them, it's like dropping them into the deep end and they cannot swim.
Right.
Yeah. So it is really a challenging challenge. It's very, very challenging. And I was just thinking about the other ways that parents usually hurt children. They will use mind games, they will damage property, they will humiliate you in front of the children. They will sometimes use the children to control you. Where did she go? Where did he go? What did she do? Then verbal abuse. They will yell, swear, put you down, you know. And yeah, and as I mentioned, they are denying the children the basic needs, like education, medical, clothing, food, etc. And at the end of the day, all they're looking for is just power and control.
Mhm.
It is not, it has nothing to do with the children. The children are innocent bystanders, you know? So it's a really, really, really sad state of affairs. Then also parenting with an abuser is not easy. The abuser will probably just decide not to involve themselves. You know, like you said, your sons, or he didn't show up to pick up the children, or they're busy, you know, they usually don't like to control or to help when it comes to raising the children, in an effort to hurt the other parent. But at the end of the day, it is the children that they are hurting, their own innocent little beings that they are hurting. Now, in this kind of scenario, you as the level-minded parent, you as the healthy parent, you do your part. Obviously, you cannot play both parents. You can only do your part, and you need to assure your children that in as much as this has happened, but it is not your fault. I love you. No child deserves to live with abuse in their lives. And try as much as possible not to badmouth the other parent.
Oh, no.
That the children will grow up and realize, you know, because when you badmouth, at the end of the day, what happens is that it gets back to you. Yeah. So I don't know, Donna, if you have something to add on to that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So when my children, when they were younger and they did speak to their father, he would always say, I know your mother is saying all this negative stuff about me, and I know your mother's saying this and saying that. And honestly, and I'm remarried, and my husband can tell you, I didn't even talk to him about my former spouse. I didn't talk to the children. They were not babies. And so I didn't have to say anything negative about him. The way that they feel about him today, they don't have any, they don't have a relationship with him, but that was him that did that. And they will, if you talk to any four of my children, any one of them, they will tell you that I never badmouthed the other parent. I didn't. And then his actions, his decisions to not be involved in their lives, in their care, was his decision. Like he knew where we lived. He knew I never tried to hide. He was, he had his order. But going through the proceedings of getting the visitation order, I told the judge, I said, he cannot come to my house drunk. There will be some guidelines. He will not show up at my house any time of the night, because he's good for drinking and driving and then deciding he's going to show up at my house at midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 a.m. and be out front just keeping up a bunch of noise. I put those requirements because you have to take back some control. And so, I told the magistrate, I said, he will not show up at my house anytime he feels like it. He will not show up under the influence of alcohol or marijuana. He will not just do whatever he feels like he can do, because we have rules. We have, I have a job. I have to be at work at 7 a.m. So he's not going to wake me up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning because he's drunk and he feels like visiting. Those are not visitation hours. So as a result of the magistrate putting these things in the order, that there will be a certain time that you could come, a time frame, not you got to be there at 6 o'clock period, but there was a cutoff time to when you could show up at our house, and he saw that as the magistrate taking my side per se, but it was not that. And I also, because, you know, I had my children in church, and just to keep them grounded and to give them some structure. And I told the magistrate, I said, they must still attend church. Now, he doesn't have to come, he could drop them off, but this is what we do. This is our life. And I can't allow him to disrupt our lives and especially take religion out of, you know, the kids' lives, because this is what's helped our church family is what helped, you know, me keep them on the right path, you know. So definitely, you know, I didn't have to badmouth him. Everything that the children feel, and young adults now, everything they feel about him or don't feel about him is his own doing. I played no part in it. And like I told him, I have better things to do than sit around and badmouth you. I'm too busy being the parent that I need to be. And Catherine, you mentioned that you can't be both parents, which is true.
Mhm.
But at the same time, because he was not involved, we do have to be
Yeah.
both the nurturer and a disciplinarian.
Mhm.
And when you have a child with who needs more attention, as my youngest son, he needed more attention with ADHD and impulse control disorder and things of that nature. I spent more time trying to keep him on the right path than nurturing him. And you know, so I didn't get to nurture him as much as I would have liked to.
Mhm.
And he feels that he feels like that is close. I mean, I wouldn't say neglect, but he feels he got cheated.
Yeah.
He feels
Short
like
change.
he got cheated out of the nurturing part of me, because I had to be both nurturer and disciplinarian, and I had to keep, you know, him together, which meant like counseling and therapy and meetings at school, IEP meetings, and, you know, doctor's appointments and just all of this stuff.
Mhm.
So, you know, and somebody posed a question, Catherine. I can't see it now because I'm on my phone, but can you read
Oh,
that question to me? I think it was from Maggie.
okay. Um, uh, I made somebody a co-host. If you co-host, if you can read out the questions, please. Somehow streaming on live on Facebook and this, I've lost my rights somewhere. So yes, Steve.
I'd be happy to. The question is, how does the healthy parent deal with the impact of the breakup on the children?
How does the healthy parent deal with the impact of the breakup on the children?
Yeah.
Okay, and this, maybe I will speak to that a little. And this is where I mentioned that you need to reassure the children. You need to secure the children. You need to tell them that violence is never okay. It will never be okay. And they were not the reason for the violence. I remember my youngest daughter going through a lot of challenges, and she kept feeling that her father left because of her, or the violence was because of her. And it troubled her for a long time until I sought like professional help for her, you know. So you need to be able to secure the child, you know, and tell them that this is not your fault. I understand it is very scary, and I understand, and it is okay for you to be angry. However, do not go, just show them how to manage with their anger, because then that's another angle that if not managed, they can go overboard. Yeah, they can go into drugs, go into sex, go into carefree lifestyle, you know, just because the other parent doesn't care. No, tell them you value them. Tell them you appreciate them. I keep telling my daughters every single day that the reason I packed up and left was because of you too. And the reason why, like when I came, the first job that I had in Canada was as a cashier at Lowe's. And I was on my feet for 40 hours a week.
Mhm.
And I did it. I told them the only reason that I will go out, even when it has snowed 40 centimeters, is because of you. I want to secure you. I want to ensure that you don't go to bed hungry. I want to ensure that you feel my love.
Mhm.
Yes. So that is how you handle the children. And also you try and seek professional help for them. Sometimes children will not talk to you 100%.
Right. Yes.
They will only tell you so much.
Mhm.
But sometimes when they're having deeper challenges, then they're better off speaking to a professional.
Right.
And the other thing also that you need to tell the children is that whatever you're going through, people have gone through before,
Oh,
and they have emerged winners on the other side.
yes.
So as dark and as bleak as it may look now,
Mhm.
it is going to get better. For sure, I never imagined that I would smile. I used to cry like pretty much almost all day, all night. I didn't imagine that I would even sit back and think of that life as like, oh, I mean, 30 years is a lifetime. I spent more years in this marriage than I spent in my parents' house,
Yes, it is.
you know, but
Yes.
that was just part of the journey, you know, and I can smile.
And it's
I
beautiful.
can continue on with my life as usual, better than before. And
Mhm.
I'm loving it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And Donna, you spoke about setting boundaries.
Oh, yes.
You know, usually the other parent will like to cause drama. I
Right.
mean, they need to know that there is structure. You know, children like structure.
Yes.
You wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you have your breakfast, you go to school. So same case scenario. So when the other parent is out of the house, this is your visitation time. Keep to it. I mean, if you don't come, then we'll go and do other things, you know? So, and don't allow them just to come and dance at your doorstep, so to speak, that whenever they think that they want to come and cause you hell, then they're at your door, jumping and doing whatever. No. This is the time that you're supposed to come. You show up like an hour later, sorry, we are doing other things. So there needs to be boundaries and structure, which you as the level-headed parent must put in. I remember I had to do something, and that was to cut off communication from my co-parent and the girls. That was a very difficult choice for me. And the reason that I did that was because all he did was to show off to the children. Oh, I'm doing this with my other families. I'm doing this with my other children. I'm doing this. Look at how well they're growing, you know? And that was not serving my children. I was struggling so hard. We had moved to a new country. We are trying to settle down. We still don't even know how we are going to be in the next year or so. And somebody is bringing in drama. No, I had to cut that off. It was not helping us at that time. It was not helping us at that time. So sometimes you need to make difficult decisions as a parent. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know, Donna, if you have any experience with maybe children going into self-harm or stuff like that, or going into drugs. I don't
Yes,
know.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. Um, I laugh because I have experienced so much that it's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
So absolutely. So my youngest son, um, my daughter called me one day at work and told me that she had found a letter that my youngest son, he was 10 years old at the time, found a suicide letter that he wrote. And when I got home, I talked to him and I said, have you tried to hurt yourself? And he told me yes. And I said, how? And he said, I put a belt around my neck and I tried to hang myself. Oh, sorry. Of course I was devastated. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I was devastated because I was trying to be the best parent that I knew how to be. And I did not realize how much. I knew it affected my sons because it affected all my children, but my boys more so because they lived with him for a year after, I left. They lived with him for a year. And then one day I was at work and I came home and it was summertime. I came home and my sons were there and they were sleeping because I worked second shift and I worked overtime. So I came home and my sons were there and their clothes were there. And he had dropped them off. And needless to say, 15 years later, he still has not come back to pick them up. So they're adults now with kids of their own. But that situation, so I talked to my son, and so what I did was I immediately took my son to the hospital, Children's Hospital, and
Mm-hmm.
I happened to be working there at the time, coincidentally. But I took my son to the emergency room, and then he actually got transferred to the psychiatric facility where he spent 10 days at the age of 10. Fast forward to the age of 13, so he got the help, he needed and so on and so forth. So fast forward to the age of 13, 3 years later, and I come home from work one evening, and he said, Mom, I got to tell you something. And I said, what is it? And he says, you might want to sit down. And at that time, my 13-year-old son told me that he had been smoking marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Wow.
needless to say, I was shocked. I was really shocked. But
Wow.
and he wanted to know, like, what's wrong with this? Like, it calms me down. It keeps me calm. It keeps me from thinking about my dad who was absent in my life, or not in my life. It keeps me just basically. He was saying it kept him grounded, and he's 22 now, and I must say that he still smokes marijuana, but he's an adult. But at the age of 13, as the parent, I had to. So the next day, of course, I called around and to some drug treatment facilities because I could not condone this, even though he told me that it really helped him at the time and all of these things. I had to let him know that, number one, it's illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, I cannot condone this, even though you telling me all the benefits of it as far as your mental health goes.
Mm-hmm.
I still had to be the parent, and I still had to get my son into a treatment program, because that's what parents do.
Yeah.
That's I couldn't, I had to, and he ended up going to a couple of programs, and then the final straw was he had to be 16 or so. I took him to an inpatient treatment program. I said, you have an appointment. He didn't realize that the appointment was at an inpatient facility and he wasn't going to be leaving with me.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I'm going to just tear this room up. In the person we were meeting with, the psychiatrist, said, well, you can do that. We're just going to take you to juvenile and then bring you back here. So I advise you, unless you want to go to juvenile, I don't advise you to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then my adult children, they did and still do smoke marijuana. But their dad was a heavy marijuana smoker when they were young, like every day. Every single day. So Yeah, I've dealt with it, but I had to still be the level-headed parent who, okay, we're gonna address this. We're not gonna brush this under the table, and I can't condone it, even if it's beneficial in your eyes, and I can't tell him how to feel, and I couldn't tell him how to think. But when you have ADHD, you have racing thoughts.
Mhm.
And as an adult, at the age of 18,
Mhm.
he informed me that he had went to the hospital once and they diagnosed him as being bipolar. So self-medication is something that you have to look out for. And like Catherine said, the, sexual avenues and the drug avenues
Mhm.
are children or young adults looking for some type of acceptance, and
Mhm.
they might find it in engaging in these things that could be life threatening you know if not gotten under control. And it's not trying to control them or their lives, but it's keeping them on a healthy path. We have to keep the kids on a healthy path. We
Yeah.
have to intervene. Even if we have to seek professional help, we have to intervene when we see them making destructive decisions that seem rational to them, but then they're not adults. So what's rational to them at 13, 14, 15, 16, we know as adults is not rational thinking. So, Catherine, I don't know if you want to add on to that, but that's my experience with illegal substances and self-harm. And you know I have a grandson who's 9, and we found out the other day that he was talking of trying to harm himself. He was going to cut his wrist.
Oh,
We found this out on Tuesday, this past Tuesday.
wow.
So I told my daughter when she called me crying and upset, I said, take him to the emergency room.
Wow.
Take him to the emergency room. So we're dealing with a situation right now that's involving all of the stuff that I'm talking to you guys about.
Yeah.
The father is not around. My daughter's trying to do her best to be, we're supporting her. And so it can go down to the grandchildren. I'm a grandparent, so it could go down to the grandchildren. And so I have to be very involved in their lives as well to encourage the parents, encourage my children who are young adults, encourage them and let them know, hey, this is what,
Mhm.
you can do, or this is how, this may help them or whatever. But so my daughter spent Wednesday all evening Wednesday at the emergency room with my grandson.
Yeah. You know, it's really, really challenging, especially when the other parent is not in the child's life, and they downplay it like it really doesn't matter. But
Mm-hmm.
no, it matters to that child.
Yes, it does.
It may not matter to them, but you see, when the child is young, first of all, the strongest role model is a same-sex parent, for starters. So if this is a boy and the father is out of the picture, then
Mm-hmm.
you are hampering the growth of that child
Mm-hmm.
by not being there. If it is a baby girl and the mother is not there, then you're
Mm-hmm.
hampering the growth of that child. And in the absence of any clear structure ahead of them, the children will turn to their peers. They will turn to, and there is no good advice with peers. Peers will always tell you, come, let's do this and let's try
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
They will not tell you anything that is good. So, and that's when the substance abuse sets in, the running around, having carefree sex sets in, and so yeah, my experience with the substance abuse is that although this child was already involved in the substance abuse before,
Mm-hmm.
I think the divorce just heightened it,
Mm-hmm.
because he suffered a backlash or being abandoned by the dad just, I think 2 or 3 months just before he graduated.
Mhm.
And like, oh yeah, so you think you're siding with your mother, so I will not send you any money for food, for upkeep, for nothing, none of that, you know? So maybe that tipped him over the edge.
Mhm.
And also, I actually did not realize that the children hurt as much as they do
Mhm.
when parents break up. And I've realized that the children hurt a lot more. That's why it's very important for you as the level-headed parent to secure the children first before you can do anything else.
Mhm.
Do whatever you have to do to secure your children first and get them stable. You know, I do get questions here and there that, oh, I broke up with my co-parent maybe just 6 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago, and I'm moving on. I've met somebody else and I'm on the go. And I'm like, you don't even know yourself at that point. You don't know who you are, let alone what you want. So how
Right.
can you know what the child would need? So secure yourself first. Learn to fall in love with you. Have a relationship with yourself.
Yes.
Once you have that relationship with yourself, then you are able to impart it onto the next person. I mean, you can't give away what you don't have, you know?
Right.
Then love your children. I mean, put them close to your heart.
Mhm.
Then now when you're thinking of remarrying, then that's fine. Or whatever you want to do, that's okay.
Right.
But for starters, you must secure yourself first. Fall in love with yourself. Spell out your boundaries. Know your deal breakers. Know that if I meet somebody who's going to do this and that, you know, like I meet quite a number of people here and there, and I just flash them off, you know, with brush them away. I just one conversation, I'm like, just get out of my life. Because I know what I want. And honestly, if you ask me, I am not going to compromise my position for somebody else. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So that is something that as a parent who is coming out of a breakup, you need to secure your children, because before you know it, if you don't realize who you are, if you don't fall in love with yourself,
Mhm.
you are attracting the same guy back into your life.
Mhm.
And before you know it, the
Mhm.
cycle of abuse
Starts.
will be live again. What are you doing to that child? What are you doing to that child? So it's really pertinent that you should fall in love with yourself first,
Yes.
secure your children, and then move on from there.
Right.
Yeah.
I totally
Steve, are
agree.
there any questions?
Questions, comments? Come on, you guys. Mhm. Come on. Questions,
Let me
comments.
yeah, no, there's no.
You can take yourself off of mute if you want to
Yeah,
speak.
you can ask a question and mute yourself.
Yes. This is a conversation. It's not one or two people talking. We need to hear from our audience. We need to.
Yeah, I'm on mute. I've unmuted. This is Maggie
Hi,
from
Maggie.
Kenya. Hi, Donna.
How are
Thank
you?
you both. I'm good.
Good.
I mean, thank you, the two of you, Donna and Catherine, for your strength. I just want to know, where do you get your strength from? I mean,
My mama.
is it spiritual? I just don't know. I'm amazed at your strength. Where do you get it from?
Thank you. I want to say, my grandmother, my mother. I come from a long line of strong women. And my faith does play a huge, I mean, unsurmountable role in things that I've gotten through. So, but I would say I come from a long line of strong women. So, and we're strong now, but there were times when, like Catherine said, when we cried and cried. We've done our fair share of crying and feeling weak. And but it's not about how many times we fall, it's about how many times we get back up. And so yeah, so I would definitely say that the women in my life and even in my church, there are some strong women, and they're, you know, so and they continue to encourage me on this journey. So it's just amazing. It's just amazing. So that's where I get my strength from. I credit God and the women in my family, my mother, my grandmother, and so on. Catherine?
First off, my mother was a prayer warrior.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
My mom was such a prayer warrior. I have not seen anybody like that in my life. So I got that from her. Then secondly, family.
Oh, yes. Mhm.
I have a few of my family members that I can call upon
Mhm.
anytime
Right.
that will support me.
Mhm.
They will love me
Mhm.
through my good and my bad and my ugly. And then the other thing is that I get my strength from because of my children, because I'm like, if
Oh,
I
yeah.
crack,
Oh,
what's
yeah.
going to happen to them? And then you see in my situation, I left home, I left family, I came to a new place, knew nobody. So if I cracked, what would happen to the children? So I have to be strong because of that. Then the other thing, you never know the amount of strength that you have until strong is the only option that you have.
Yes.
So women are
Yes.
strong, women are resilient. You know,
Yes.
it comes to a time, I remember when my drama had just started and I was suicidal at some point.
Mhm. Oh.
I was suicidal. Remember I told you that I was not working. I was a stay-at-home mom. I had no money to myself. And then before you know it, the first whip was the withdrawal from family finances.
Mhm.
Then the kids are getting sick, and my kids were asthmatic at that point.
Mm.
And you have to go to the doctor and you have to pay before you can see the doctor. And then you wake up and you realize you have no money, you have nothing, you cannot even fuel the damn car.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness, my sister held me. My sister held me. You know, when people say that I don't know what I would do without you, I really don't know what I would have done without my sister. She held me together and she's like, what is it? What do you need? The baby, the child is unwell and she needs to get to see the doctor. That is all? Yes. There is the money for fuel. There is the money to go and see the doctor, and I will meet you right there. You know? So we draw strength from each other. Then I come to Canada and I meet Donna. And I'm like, oh my goodness, when I look at my story and I compare with Donna's story, then mine is just a drop in the ocean. Then I realize, oh my goodness, I need to step up into Donna's boots. I'm also stepping up into because I realized mine was just a drop in the ocean. So now we decide, let's team up together and let us change lives. Let people know that you don't deserve to live the way somebody is dictating your life. Look at this scenario. This is somebody, when you bring a baby into this world, you fall in love with that baby. You love that baby. Now, imagine the scenario whereby the other parent decides that they do not want to be involved in that child's life.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think they are at? They're in a horrible place. Horrible, horrible place. You know? if they decide that they're not going to involve themselves in that child's life.
Right.
So, yeah, they're not doing well. Take it the way it is. You as a strong parent, you keep moving on.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Catherine,
Mhm.
I wouldn't say that your experience is a drop in the what you say, drop in the ocean,
A drop in the ocean.
drop in the ocean. I disagree, but okay. So I have to say that I do agree with the fact that the children do give you strength.
Mhm.
Because you realize that a lot of the decisions you made were based on the fact that they are affected by what's going on. So um,
Mhm.
draw a lot of strength from them. Try to give them as much of me as I could. And I'm looking here, my my youngest daughter just walked up, and I just like when it was time for her prom,
Mhm.
I decided she was gonna be a princess. So I call her princess, but
Mhm.
she was gonna be a real princess for prom. Like I had this pink dress custom made with all these jewels, and you know,
Oh, wow.
she was just made up so pretty, and her hair done, and her shoe. I mean, everything about her prom was like so amazing. I was like, this is my princess, and she will be dressed as such for her prom. So I just thought about that because she happened to walk up. You couldn't see her, but she walked up. And so definitely draw strength from the children. And Catherine, like you, when I left my abuser, I had just lost my job, and he had torn up my van. I had a van, and he had torn up the steering column in my van. So I left with the clothes on my back. I left with the clothes on my back. I left a 4-bedroom condominium, um, fully furnished. I had fish that I really loved. I really miss my fish. I had 4 piranhas that I raised from
Mhm.
baby, and they were the size of your hand probably. But I had to walk away with everything. And you mentioned family, so my mother and my aunt, I told them, I said it's time to go. And so my my excuse getting out of the house was I'm going to the store. And what I had to do was I had to get a ride because my sons were at their dad's sister's house in another community. So I had my daughters with me, but I had to go pick my sons up. And had it not been for my mother and my aunt, I don't know how I would have got out of there, because I didn't, like I said, I didn't have a job, I didn't have a car, I didn't have any of that. So and now, what, 16, almost 17 years later,
You're still at the store?
I'm still at the store.
That
I
always
am,
cracks me
I,
up. That really
I
cracks
am,
me up. That
so
you're still at the store 16 years later.
I am still at the store.
Mhm.
Still at the store. So that was, if it wasn't for them though, like you said, family and being supportive, and even my kids now that they're adults, sometimes when I'm not having such a great day, or I can talk to them now and share with them and like lean on them for some strength.
Yeah.
So I've done that. I'm able to lean on them for strength when I'm not, because I don't always have it all together, Catherine. Contrary to what you believe, I don't always have it all together. I really
No,
don't. And
that's what I know. Donna has it all together. So I'm always trying to walk into your boat, fit my little
no,
feet.
we're Sue and Steve. Y'all know I don't always have it all together. So no, contrary to what people may believe,
Mhm.
somebody is trying to figure out the password. I'm not sure who it is. It's somebody that's in our group, Catherine, in our other group, the WhatsApp. Somebody
Oh,
trying to get in. I can't see who it is, but they don't have the password.
okay, let me
So,
just.
do we have any other questions, comments?
Steve was looking at that.
Steve, has anyone else posted any questions?
I don't see any at the moment. Some comments. Betty said, well, secure yourself first, secure your children, because before you move on, you have to be emotionally healthy first before you engage in another relationship. You cannot
Yes,
give what you do not have.
that's true. I agree. I agree. And so when Catherine said, get to know you, that's definitely what I did. I did not anticipate getting remarried. I did not, I was dating, 6 years later, I was dating. And my current husband, um, I was not dating. I was not, honestly, I wasn't dating to marry. I'm just gonna be completely honest. I was not. I was knowing me, I was having fun, I was, it was like I was a teenager again in many ways because I was free. There was a weight lifted, and I shed some physical weight as far as like mental weight and things like that. So I was just at that time living my best life. Raising my kids, enjoying them and dating and um so that was not my intention or that was not my thought process at the time, but um when you have a higher power that speaks to you and you listen and it was just the greatest blessing. My husband is the greatest blessing besides my children and my grandchildren, my mother, family, things of that nature.
Mhm.
He's just an added blessing. And he loves the children and grandchildren and my mother and everything just as
Mhm.
much as I do. So um but I did get to know me because I had lost myself. You lose yourself
Oh,
in
you
being,
can't find yourself. You
yeah,
lose yourself. You don't even know where you dropped
being
off.
a parent. Oh yeah, being a parent and being in an abusive relationship, you lose yourself trying to please that your spouse. Um, you lose yourself. You don't know what you like. Somebody says, "Hey, Donna, what do you like?" And I'm like, well, I know that like my kids like this, like my husband like to know what do you like, and you can't even answer simple questions like that because you're so wrapped up in being a mother and a wife and taking care of everyone else, but not really taking care of yourself. So self care is the best care.
My daughter told me the other day, my daughter is very observant, my 16-year-old. She's very, very observant, and she feels me, even if she's in the other room. So we had a mishap the other day when we were going to Calgary. It was slippery and we veered off the road and stuff. And when there was a good Samaritan who came and helped us and got us back onto the road. Now, then we went to Calgary, we came back. Then when we got back in the evening, she's like, Mom, today I saw you panic. Like you panicked when Dad did this and that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I remembered at that time when we were going off the road, I lost myself. And it actually reminded me in that moment, it reminded me of what had happened then. Like you say, you lose yourself. I
Yeah.
had no clue whether I was going or coming,
Yes.
whether I was alive or I
Mm-hmm.
was not, I was neither here nor there. I was in between. I was not on earth and had not reached heaven yet. You know, not on earth and not in heaven, not yet reached heaven. So you have to take a moment. You must relax and take a moment and find yourself because you're shattered in over 1 million pieces.
Yeah.
You have to find all your pieces and bring them back together and glue them back together. And when you glue them back, you glue it with gold.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
then you are one beautiful being. Mm. I can see there's something here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a question, Donna. Are you reaching out to others in similar situations? If yes, how? If not, why not?
We're reaching out to other people in similar situations the best way we know how, which is by having conversations like this
Mhm.
and inviting people to come and engage and listen and learn and ask questions. And, because I told Catherine, we are the experts in this field. Like I said, you can't Google it. You can't,
No,
you can get statistics and you can get like examples, but hearing from people who have lived it and who have survived it is the best teacher. So yes, we've reached out to people. I reach out to people like all the time. So one way I reach out to people is that I actually wrote a book about some of my experiences, being in abusive situations. And so I'm a published author of a book. It happened yesterday, A Survivor's Revelation. So I have had many speaking engagements. My church is very supportive. So I've spoken at women's conferences. I've done these Zoom meetings, discussions. I've spoken at in groups, like to the young groups at school. I minister to women who join our church and they're in these type of situations. And they usually bring them, once they reveal it or they talk about it, they usually refer them to me. So I'm involved that way. And we use our platforms, all of our platforms, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, any way we see fit, like, or any opportunity. We definitely are reaching out to women in similar situations, and we're trying to get them, and also through our coaching businesses. We're master coaches, and mine is my company is Speak Up Reach Out LLC, and my coaching program is Empower to Thrive. So I'm an empowerment coach, and then Catherine is hers is Survivor to Thriver. And so through our coaching business, through our platforms, through these types of meetings, we are asking people and reaching out to people and encouraging people to engage with us, so that we can help them through these processes, because it's not easy. And some people don't have anyone to turn to. And there's so many like Facebook groups. I'm in several Facebook groups where women are talking about they're in abusive situations and trying to get out. So we're definitely reaching out. Catherine, you want to add something to that?
no, you pretty much said it all. Yeah, that is the way we reach out,
Mm-hmm.
by however opportunity that we get.
Mm-hmm.
I have become so passionate about it. Yesterday, a friend of mine was asking me, how come you got into domestic violence? Why didn't you talk about anything else? And I'm like, yeah, because I am a survivor. And he was taken aback and he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, I am a survivor, So that's why I speak to domestic violence with a passion.
Yes,
All
absolutely.
we want is abuse-free relationships. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was also let's see, recently my pastor's sister, she's an evangelist. She has a TV show on the um is it Preach the Word Network on cable TV. And for the last Monday in October, because October is the Domestic Violence Awareness Month,
Mhm.
I actually was a guest on her show, and I was able to answer some questions. So, and what you said, Catherine, about somebody asked you why do you speak out against about domestic violence? Well, one of the questions that her name is Evangelist Monique O'Neill Gittens, and one of the questions Evangelist Gittens asked me was, why did you choose domestic violence?
Mhm.
And my response was, I didn't. Domestic violence chose me.
For sure.
domestic violence stuff, you don't go out and seek to be hurt. And it was just, and it wasn't her intention to be, it was just her intent. You know, she just wanted to know, like, it's an innocent question. Like, why did you choose domestic violence as a platform, which is what the question really is asking. But we didn't choose domestic violence. It chose us.
Yeah.
It chose us. So, and I saw, Maggie, you asked, do we reach out to men too? Absolutely. So I'm gonna give you a prime example. When I had my book signing last year, a year ago in October, when I had my official book signing, I had a gentleman, actually, I had my son to come and speak on behalf of the men because my son was a victim of domestic abuse by a female, by a woman. And he's 28 years old, and this happened a couple of years ago. But yes, absolutely, we reach out to anyone. We reach out to anyone, men or women. Domestic abuse is not gender specific, so we just need to. So when we post about these different topics, and we post about having these type of engagements, and men say, "Can I come?" Absolutely, absolutely. We encourage it because sometimes to hearing from, and goes for women as well, sometimes hearing from people who have survived different things, whether it be substance abuse, whether it be, you know, domestic abuse or anything like that, sometimes hearing the effects it has on people can change some decisions that people make, or can change some actions that they take, or can change some habits that they may have, like drinking or drugs, and they know that these things alter their actions. Hearing from us and people like us can change some behavior, and it can save somebody some hurt. I'm a firm believer in that. So absolutely, we welcome men, women. It doesn't matter. Domestic abuse is not gender specific, and we don't pretend that it is. It's not. And realizing that, I got my son to speak at my book signing, and people were just in awe of him because, you know, because he was speaking out, and so they were just amazed. And he's young, and he's a father, you know, so they were just amazed that he had the courage to speak up and try to reach men and women, you know. So, Catherine, you have something to add to that?
No, I was actually just looking at the chat, and there's a question. Where can someone find you if they seek a coach like you both? So
I'm on all social media platforms. I'm Donna M. Hall. So I'm on all social media. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, and I am on Facebook. So also, my business page is Speak Up Reach Out LLC on Facebook, and Speak Up Reach Out LLC on Instagram. And I always make my phone number available. You can private message me. And my phone number is posted on my sites. So you can go to any platform that just about and get in contact with me.
Yeah.
Catherine.
Yeah. We are on. I'm also on all those platforms, and I don't, probably on Instagram, my number is not there, but or a link to how you can reach me. But usually we have links how you can reach us, or even if you just, if on Facebook, send us a message, you know, we can be able to set up something. Now I see somebody has asked me a question here, and Zuleha says, Catherine, you mentioned that you had blocked your girls from communicating with their dad. What is the situation like now? And would you advise a level-headed parent to do likewise? Okay, situation still remains the same. Why? Because there is no healthy communication from the other end. Would I advise a parent to do the same? You know, each situation is different. So it's up to you as a parent to make the right decision for you at the time. probably why you'd be stopping that communication is not the same reason that I did. But you need to look at it and see what is your situation and what will you gain out of it. Would I like the situation to change? Hell yes, I would like my girls to have their father in their life. You know, it is the right of every child to have their both parents in their life, even if the parents are not together. So if we get healthy communication from the other end, well, yes, I am all for it. But if it will still be a punch down type of communication, then Mama Bear is going to say no. Mama Bear is going to jump in and say, you're not going to mess around with my girls.
Yeah.
They have, I mean, the children have gone through enough for you to come in and begin punching them all over again. So Zuleha, review your situation and know why. Can you reach out to somebody who can be able to talk to the other parent to get some sense into that other parent, so that then they you can come to a consensus. In my case, we tried everything. Believe me, by the time I was blocking, we had done that. We had gone to the mosque, to the imams, we had done everything that could possibly be done. You know, whenever I sit back and say that, oh yes, I was in there for 30 years and it ended, I have no regrets because I did everything. You know, sometimes people jump out at the first sign of abuse.
Right.
Well, I did everything that I could do to save my marriage and secure my children, but it all failed. It was sucking the soul out of my life. So I decided, no, I'm not going to give up my soul to the devil. So I decided to save myself. So review your situation and find out and see what else, because that is really an extreme that would not be the best, not unless it is harming the children. If that communication is harming the children, well, yes. But if there is a way that somebody can talk sense into the other parent and you can sit down and have an agreement and you state your boundaries and say that these are my boundaries and these are my deal breakers, go for it. Yeah. So I hope, Zuleha, that answers your question. Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, we've been on for an hour, I think.
Has it been an hour already?
Oh, an hour and 10 minutes.
Wow. Well, we started a little bit after, so.
Well, it's 20 after the hour. So.
Oh, okay, yeah. Great. It was great. I mean, the time just flies by when you're doing something you're passionate about.
You don't even realize it.
Yes, absolutely, Catherine. And I just have to say and share with everybody that you talk about my strength, but I talk about your strength because you came to another country. I mean, I went to another neighborhood. I went to another neighborhood. Like you went like halfway across the world. So I mean, come on, yeah. I mean, that takes some strength now. Come on now. And hey, I admire your strength. I love it. And I know that we were put together by divine force.
Yeah.
I'm grateful. I'm happy. And we know we are more than just these Zoom meetings. We are really sister friends.
Yes.
I'm so grateful and thankful for getting to know you, Catherine. We are changing lives and we are like passionate about doing it. So that's why we both became master coaches. And that's why we are seeking to help individuals, male or female, doesn't matter. I can if you're a man and you are actually, if you're abusive or if you're being abused, I can empower you either way. And I'm sure Catherine can, I'm confident that she can also have an impact on your life. So Maggie, how did we meet? Maggie asked, how did we meet? We met in a master coaching program. And believe it or not, with Fabienne Raphael, who we love dearly. So if you don't know her, she just finished a 3-day masterclass. She is amazing. So Fabienne Raphael on all platforms. Reach out to her if you want to become a master coach. She is amazing. She coaches through a program, a 8-week program, and that's how we met. And she actually made us each other's accountability partner, and we didn't have a clue about each other's niche of and passion for domestic violence until we had our first conversation, and it was just up from there. It was up from there, and I'm just excited. And thank you, Steve, for putting Fabienne.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Yeah.
If you want to become a coach, reach out to Fabienne. She is amazing. No, it's not free, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah.
Steve, who we're talking to, Steve was in that class. I see Sue
Raz is here
I
too.
see Robbie's on.
Sue
And
is here as well.
yeah, so these are people that were also in our coaching program who we hey Razi, glad you could join us. And we still keep in touch, you know, not just Catherine and I, but we keep in touch with the other participants in the course, because we was just like the bomb, like as a group, you know. I mean, everybody we got along, we encourage each other. And like I said, I don't always have it all together. I actually was going through something during the coaching program, and it was the support of these people that got me through. Let me tell you, because I don't know what, like something was, I don't even remember what was going on. But it was like one thing after another, and like I was struggling. And the support of these individuals is what got me through so that I could finish the program. So when you surround yourself around with supportive people who truly genuinely care about you and your well-being and your success, because we support and promote each other. So that's another way we're reaching out to people. We're supporting and promoting each other as master, because we're all a master coach in our own area. You know, we got Rosie with leadership, Steve with leadership, Sue, I forget your niche because you had a couple at first. Well,
She is supporting parents of mental. Okay.
Master Success Coach. Steve is the Master Success. Is that Sue? She's a Master Success Coach. So we all have our areas of expertise. Just Catherine and I teamed up because of our passion for making people aware that they can survive domestic abuse. As you can see today, we sit here with smiles on our faces, but that wasn't always so.
Oh yeah.
So that's all I have for today. I'm not sure what else Catherine has, or if anybody has any questions or comments. We are so happy that you joined us today. We will be back in approximately 2 weeks. We're trying to do bi-weekly sessions. I don't know what our next topic is going to be. We just, you know, conversate and we come up with a topic as we go. Or if you have any suggestions, anything you want us to talk about in relation to domestic abuse or intimate partner violence, as they're now calling it, it's the same thing. Please let us know. Reach out to us on, like I say, any platform. I'm Donna M. Hall. Catherine, I'm going to let you wrap it up.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody, for taking your time to join us. We really sure appreciate your time, value your time. And whenever we send out the invites, just spread the word. You know, domestic violence is a taboo subject.
Yes, it is.
Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to face it, you know, and most often the abuser is usually a well put together individual that people will not even believe that they can abuse you. So let's spread the word and let's save as many lives as possible. At the time when I fled my country, femicide was just going through the roof. It was every day, there was always something in the papers. This woman was found where this, and really, that really scared me. So let's save as many lives as possible. Let's change lives as possible. And maybe by just being aware, you don't eventually have to leave, but you can put up boundaries that can lead to a healthy relationship, which is what we are looking for at the end of the day. So thank you very much. And if you are watching on Facebook, please come and give us a comment in the comments, #replay, so that we know what that you have watched, either you are watching the live or the replay. And oh yeah, I can see a comment from Steve. I help family men become reconnected to themselves and their priorities so they can feel successful in their lives without conflict in their relationships. There comes another tie.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. So now there comes another tie. Now, Steve, we need to do this with you, because when, you know, men, they don't like to come out to the front that have been abused, but when they see Steve there, they're probably gonna reach out some more,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We will be bringing some wonderful guests along with us along the way as we talk about these topics. So Rosie, you want to post with your niche and what you do, Sue, please be let everybody know what you know, what yours is, what you do. And
Sue as well, if she can just post,
yeah,
and then
Sue,
yeah, we
Rosie,
can wrap it off.
yes. So that way people know how to contact you and what it is that you are what you're doing. So we're just grateful for everybody today. We're grateful for each other. And we just thank you. We hope you join us the next time.
Yeah.
We're gonna,
and even if you think about a topic, even if after we have left, just send us a message either on Messenger, or Facebook, or however you found your way here. Just send us a message, and then we'll pick it up from there, so that we can change as many lives as possible.
Yes. All right.
Okay, so thank you very much, and have a lovely rest of your day or evening, wherever you are.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys the next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Okay, stop the live, Catherine.
Yeah, I have, haven't I? Oh, not yet.
No, not yet.